Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to the Safe Zone podcast, or welcome to the Safe Zone podcast if this is your first time here. My name is Brittney. I work within the mental health field. I offer private therapy, workshops, guided meditations, etc., etc. Within this podcast, we learn about ourselves, we learn about people, we learn about psychology, we learn some mental health skills and tools, something to help you along your journey to healing and empowerment. Now, big disclaimer for my YouTube peeps. I brought everything in to film today except the adapter for the memory stick. So, I have to film on my phone because I really don't have any other time to film this again before the 11th comes up. So, we're just making that lemonade. That's what we're doing today. So I apologize for changes in our normal scenery. This is the best that I can do with what I have right now. And I hope it takes us through the entire episode filming. My Spotify peeps, nothing should change. This is regular schmegular Brittney's voice. Okay, so today we are here within this episode to speak about episode 7, 911's, to calm anxiety and panic. Why I think this episode is important, a couple of reasons. One, there are a lot of people that deal with anxiety, more people than you know. There was someone that asked me once, you're typical, you work in the mental health field, so people assume you could read their mind, what they're thinking, all the deepest, darkest, blah, blah, blah. You're always analyzing them, etc. So someone asked me that, is there some more thing that you can just spot off the bat? And I think of everything. I could see anxiety a mile away. I can see the anxious behaviors. I can see the different impulses that you're doing, whether it's the anxious behaviors or things to help you cope with your anxiety. I could pick up that anxious energy very easy. And yeah, so I do think that there are a lot of people, more people than you assume, that have some level of anxiety. And for the amount of people that have anxiety, we don't have enough discussions around anxiety. We don't have enough exposure to tools and information to help us learn about it and know how to control it. Because the controlling or reducing anxiety is twofold in taking the emotional intelligence approach to it. It is the self-awareness and then the self-regulation. You have to understand your anxiety, your subtypes, your triggers, your reactions, all of those things, and then you learn the tools how to regulate it. It's not just a jumping straight to regulation. So anyway, I do think that there aren't enough spaces and conversations to help people learn more about their anxiety, and there aren't enough conversations about very easy, accessible, and effective tools that can stop an anxiety attack like that before it even happens. So we're going to talk about those today. Second reason why I chose this episode, because I myself am an anxious girly. And within my teen years, I used to have anxiety attacks almost every night or at least once a week. And it was a thing I struggled with. And it's still a part of who I am. But I have just learned how to control it. And I can safely say that I haven't had an anxiety attack in maybe 10 years or more. Sorry, maybe 10 years or a little bit less. Not because they have not come on, because they definitely have. I don't think a year has passed by yet where I haven't had at least one anxiety attack trying to come on. But because of the tools that I've learned and how effective they are, I've been able to control them. So because of my own personal journey with anxiety and proven methods that I have used on my own self to help prevent it. Because a lot of times we talk about the things, even if you go and search up ways to calm an anxiety attack, they give you all these self-regulating things like slow your breathing, blah, 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 these types of things, but not a lot of the actual effective 911's, because a lot of those solutions work at level 1, 2, 3, but by the time you are near anxiety attack, those things that kind of relate to that part of the brain is not as effective versus the things that we're going to talk about that's more instantaneous, even when the brain is doing its own anxious things, we're going to learn tools that actually stop it immediately to help the brain come back on. And last reason why I chose this episode is because, what did I put here? Oh, right. Anxiety attacks are not fun. And you don't know it until you experience it. It's if you are in a position right now where nothing that I'm saying or the word anxiety attack has no relevance to you, you have no idea how lucky you are. Because you don't know how scary a panic attack is, an anxiety attack is, until you're in the moment. It's a very scary experience to be in your body when you're experiencing that. And the reality is we can control it and we can stop it and we can prevent it. So because of how scary those experiences are, is why I think we need to talk about it, and also to help empower people so that they know what to do in those moments, or even they know what to do if they see someone else in that moment. Because these tools you can use for yourself, but if you see someone having an anxiety attack, whatever age, these tools are also going to be applicable to them to help bring them down immediately. So what to expect within this episode, we are going to talk about what is anxiety. We're also going to understand what are some factors that contribute to a person's chances of having anxiety. We're going to learn a couple 911's, so things that are going to instantaneously bring down your anxiety and panic. And of course, I'm going to give you all some tips, right? A good bit of tips just for any anxious girls or boys out there that just need the regular things to help gradually bring down their level of anxiety piece by piece by piece, right? So we're going to talk about what, why, 911's, and some tips. And if you've been here before, I always end every episode with a little mini meditation, a little pocket of mindfulness, a little pocket of regulation that you can use at the end of the episode, or you can keep in your back pocket. For any of those little pockets that you want to take a couple minutes just to regulate your mind and body. We're going to end the episode like that to help you leave with a little bit more peace. So let's get into it. Let me take a little sip of my coffee. Alrighty dighty. What is anxiety? Firstly, people have anxiety has a bad rep, but if we didn't have anxiety, then we'll be in danger. Anxiety is a very self-preserving and self-protecting emotion, and it helps us detect danger, it helps keep us safe, it helps us plan for the future as well, right? So anxiety is a good emotion, and without it, we would not be able to sense danger, we will not be able to prepare for danger. The problem with anxiety is versus fear. Fear is where there's a real threat. So there is a lion in front of me, so because of that, I am afraid. But with anxiety, a lot of times the fear is not real, is not present, or it's imagined. So now you have to go into the grocery to get something. People that have social anxiety, you feel like there's a threat. You feel like there's a lion in front of you. There is no actual harm and threat. Going to the grocery is not going to physically harm you, but your body and your mind registers it as a trigger. Yeah, so anxiety oftentimes is for very rarely real threats. Sometimes it is real threats, and we'll get to that because again, it's self-preserving. So not all the time your anxiety is wrong. Sometimes it's your body giving you signals that you're around unsafe people or unsafe environments. But a lot of times it's your own perceived threats or your own subjective perspective on certain things. Anxiety has lots and lots of subtypes, and going through these subtypes and learning what the different subtypes are very important in helping you understand what your triggers are. So social anxiety, your triggers are public speaking, conversations, situations with people, social settings. If you have hypochondria or health anxiety, your triggers are body sensations, maybe conversations about different illnesses and diseases that make you very hyper aware of your body. If you have phobias, then your triggers are particular items or things or places or environments, right? So knowing the subtypes of anxiety is very important. I did a video a long time before I even started the podcast thing. During COVID, I started YouTube channels. And I did it was either one video or a couple of videos with anxiety, speaking about the different subtypes of anxiety. So I think I'm going to link that in the caption, in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Yes, caption is your right word. In the caption, I'm going to link that for you because a lot more information just like about anxiety is on this. This episode is more focused on the 911's to regulate it, right? So anxiety comes with a different subtypes. Again, there are different types which also relate to different triggers. Anxiety is an emotion. So like all emotions, it changes the way we think. Your anxious brain does not think the same way it does when you're happy. Your body does not feel the same when you're safe. And your behaviors, your impulses, the things that you do, the things you want to reach for, the things that you move, those jitters, those are not the same when you're happy versus when you're anxious. So anxiety brings on a lots and lots of mental, physical, and behavioral shifts in us, right? And most of the times when we are anxious, our focus, our attention is not actually in the present moment. If we're anxious in the present moment, it's because it's a real threat. There's an actual factor in our present moment that our body is trying to tell us is unsafe for whatever reason. But the majority of the times when we reach a state of a panic attack, chances are that your brain is your focus is so far into the past or so far into the future. You are so far from your present moment, right? So your focus is all the way over there versus how much rarer it is to actually feel anxious when our focus and attention is actually in the present moment. Because a lot of times you there, cozy up in your bed, safe and sound, but your mind and your thought is somewhere else. You done 3 years down the line into your future and riling up yourself versus if you are actually present in your moment, focus on the temperature, the coziness, the sense, the sights, the sounds, all of that around you, you will not feel half as anxious. So a lot of times we have anxiety or moments of panic. Our focus and attention is somewhere in the past or somewhere in the future. So why do people struggle with anxiety? This is pretty interesting, right? So there are both external factors and internal factors that play a role in anxiety. Internal factors are things that exist within the person. And external factors are things that exist outside of the person. Hold on now. Okay, so we're going to start with external factors. Big external factors that play a role. A lot of people that have anxiety came from unsafe childhood homes or have had unsafe parent or guardian caregiver persons, or their parents themselves were, at least one of them, oftentimes the same gender, but not all the time, but sometimes the same gender. They saw a parent that was anxious. So you observe a parent, or that anxious parent parented you, and everything that you did was, oh, be careful, but this will happen, but what about this? And next thing you know, you're an adult that thinks the same way and approaches life with the same level of fear and hesitation and continual worry, etc. So one factor externally is your childhood, your upbringing, your parents, your relationship with your parents. As I said, safe, unsafe people and unsafe places. So again, even the people that have been able to bring their anxiety to a more normal level, you will still feel anxious if you're around an unsafe person. You can regulate your body and mind as much as possible, but your body will continue to give you signals that I am around an unsafe person or I am in an unsafe space, right? So bear that in mind, that sometimes anxiety is just, again, your body trying to protect you and give you signals. And this is where we have to trust the body's intelligence. Because something in our spirit, as Trini said, your blood just don't take to somebody. Something about you stirs up when you're around this person. You feel just unsafe around this person, or based on the decisions, the values, the behaviors, their communication style, their personality, whatever it is, makes you feel unsafe. You will always feel anxious around that person. You may be able to regulate yourself, but it will always be a peak of anxiety because, again, this is your body telling you that we feel unsafe and we need to prepare for danger. So being around unsafe people or unsafe places, whether real or imagined unsafe, right? And last external factor, stress load. Stress load, if you're going through any experience of grief or loss, and grief and loss is not just from death, it is from death, but it's also from ending relationships, leaving comfort zones, leaving familiar workplaces, changing certain friendships, different spaces of loss and grief, right? So periods of high stress, grief, and grief has no timeline. So don't think that because you have lost something or someone a couple months ago, I should be over it by now. There's a biological impact that grief has on the body that you cannot just wait for the time to regulate it, right? How you support your grief is going to determine how fast you go through that. But stress, grief, and of course, like any major milestone, decision-making time, any kind of unknown period. So youths that are transitioning from high school into university, adults that are determining whether they want to change a career path, someone that is trying to make an important life decision, if something is right for them, if something is wrong for them, any of those kind of uncertain spaces are inevitably going to bring about anxiety, right? So those are external factors. Internal factors I find are very interesting. One, unresolved trauma. If you have experiences that you have gone through in your life that you have yet to sit with, reflect, and process, all you're doing is suppressing it, shoving it at the back of your brain, ignoring it, distracting yourself, avoiding all your thoughts, keeping yourself busy, you're always going to have an underlying level of anxiety because, again, you are not processing certain things that need attention and need time and need your undivided attention. So this goes to whether it's adult experiences, childhood experiences, past romantic relationships, unhealthy friendships, bullying, experiences of emotional abuse, physical abuse, anything like that. Any type of unresolved trauma is going to leave the body with a certain level of anxiety. 2, personality types also have higher tendencies to certain levels of anxiety. Introverts have a higher likelihood of feeling levels of social anxiety compared to extroverts. Doesn't mean that extroverts don't have social anxiety, but introverts oftentimes would carry a little bit more anxiety. And last but not least, which I bring home so often to my clients, when you don't meet your human basic needs, the body is going to fight you back. If you are dehydrated, you are going to feel anxious. If you have not slept properly in a very long time and you're sleep deprived, you're going to feel anxious. If you are skipping meals and not nourishing your body and half of the day has passed by and you have not put anything in your system, you're going to feel anxious. If you have not eaten, but you are on your second cup of caffeine, you are going to feel anxious. If you are not moving your body and having outlets for all of that extra adrenaline and energy that comes with anxiety, you are going to feel anxious. There are just certain basic needs that the human mind and human body needs. If you are not getting enough nature time, if you didn't get sunlight on your face in a long time, if you have not touched soil, sand, a tree, if you are not listening to the birds, if you are not looking outside and you are just fixated on one screen, like if you're trying to hunt, your body, you're not giving your body signals of safety, right? So basic needs, when they are basic unmet needs, you're going to have a level of anxiety and you cannot therapy it out, you can't ignore it out, and you can't regulate it out, right? So those unmet basic needs oftentimes are hidden culprits behind anxiety, right? That again, if you are hungry, if you are tired, if you're exhausted, you're not talking to anybody, you're isolated, you're indoors all the time, you haven't moved your body, you didn't sweat in a million years, you're just sitting down, taking in stress, not speaking, not getting it out, you're dealing with a lot of triggers for aggression, you're not getting it out, you're going to have anxiety. Yeah. Okay. So 911's. Two key 911's, and then some others I'm going to give you that may not be immediate 911's, but they're going to help as well. So two key 911's. Number one, from the moment you feel yourself tipping into an anxiety attack, get you something cold. Ice either in your hands, an ice pack on your chest, an ice block in your mouth, a cool water splash, a cool shower, running your hands under very cool water, an ice pack behind your neck, a frozen bottle behind your neck, any form of skin contact with ice or very cold water. Remember I said that a lot of times when we're at the height of a panic attack, it's because our brain and focus is so far from the present moment. And nothing grabs your attention back like skin on cold. Because it's the only thing you can focus on, and your brain can only focus on one thing 100% at one time. So when you make that contact with ice, your focus immediately goes away from whatever you've been spiraling about to, that's very cool, what's going on? So you grab your attention in the moment, and the cold temperature also turns on your vagus nerve. I will put up a little image because we did an episode on the vagus nerve. Right, so it turns on that vagus nerve, which is 75% of the calming side of your nervous system. So while you're in panic mode, you are fully in that sympathetic nervous system, which is increased heart rate, dry mouth, queasy tummy, no digestive fluids being produced, muscle tensed. When you turn on the parasympathetic nervous system, this vagus nerve, you turn that on, heart rate goes down, breathing rate starts to drop, body temperature starts to drop, saliva goes back in your anxious mouth, digestive fluids go back in your tummy. All the undoing of the triggers starts to get undone from when you turn on that vagus nerve, and cold water contact, ice contact, that does it immediately. So if you are having a panic attack, first thing you want to grab is ice. It brings you down immediately. It stops it. You cannot continue a panic attack and cannot escalate a panic attack with ice, or ice in your hands, any kind of ice contact on your skin in any shape or form, or cold water. And it's also something to bear in mind to help someone else. If you see someone spiraling, especially young kids, that they don't have the language to communicate it, but you can see it, even getting them to hold this ice for a couple seconds, hold it. All right, let's do it again. Ready? Hold it. Those small things, getting someone ice, getting someone a very cool drink, or anytime you feel a little starting to get overwhelmed, don't wait for it to reach to that peak. Grab some ice, throw some ice in your mouth, sip of very cool water. That cool temperature pulls you back. So that's 911 number one. Ice and cold stops a panic attack immediately. And two, same 911 effect, sour. So the flavor sour, when you have that flavor in your mouth, you kind of have that kind of response, that kind of twist up face, twist up mouth type of response. And your focus immediately rejoins with your body in the present moment, right? And the sour response, again, also turns on that vagus nerve. So some options for the sour flavor, you have like citrus fruits. You also have like fermented fruits, so like the pickles, the kimchi, the sauerkraut, and of course sour candies. So again, if you know you're an anxious person, or you have an anxious child, or you know someone that's anxious, keep sour stuff close by. When you feel it coming on, or you feel, oh, this is good with kids as well, you feel that coming on, or you notice it coming on, give them, or you take it yourself. And sour flavor is another 911 that immediately breaks a panic attack. You cannot continue a panic attack when you have that sour flavor in your mouth, and it turns on the calming side of your nervous system. Yeah, so those are two major 911s. So they bring you down immediately. I'm going to share a couple more. These may not have the most immediate effect, but they do have a very effective impact on stopping a panic attack and lowering levels of anxiety in a more powerful way than the regular self-regulation tactics that they often teach. So another one is your exhales. So this vagus nerve that we speak about, the calming side of our nervous system, it's also turned on through exhales, right? So we want to focus on those exhales. You notice yourself starting to get anxious. You notice your mind going a mile a minute. You start to see the signs of yourself building up to panic. Long exhales. It doesn't have to be loud if you don't want it to be loud. It could just be quiet exhales. It can be powerful exhales. Broken up exhales. But long exhales. So extended exhales. As you start to extend that exhale, you're going to feel the calm coming back into your body. Right? So long, powerful exhales. Also, if you can hum, that's the same humming as an exhale as well. And it vibrates the throat. And there's a lot of the vagus nerve that branches around your neck and your throat. So it also turns on the vagus nerve through vibration as well. Right, so you're going to turn on the vagus nerve through the exhale as well as the vibration with humming. So you can powerfully exhale or you can exhale through a hum. Or you can start to hum a song. Right, so humming, long extended exhales. Another good, somewhat 911. Another breathing technique that's a very good breathing technique specific to anxiety is called the physiological breath. That is two inhales through your nose and a long exhale through your mouth. The inhale through your nose, it's more like a very big inhale and then a very little extra inhale and then a long exhale. So it's going to be a full inhale through your nose, almost to like 98% capacity of your lungs. So proper breath, ribs, chest, back opens up so your lungs get full expansion. So it's going to be, and then one more sip of air, and then a long exhale through your mouth. So physiological breath, inhale through your nose, nice big first inhale. One more inhale, and then a long exhale. That's one of the most effective breathing techniques for reducing anxiety and bringing it down as well. Because again, the aim is to not reach to the point where you have to use the 911s and trying to get it on the road before it gets to that point. If you get to that point, then you have to reach for the ice or the sour, right? Two more, not so much 911 regulators, but good anti-anxiety things. Having a safe person. I'm not going to put this as a 911 because you're not guaranteed that that person is going to be available in your moment of panic. So you don't want your only go-to to be, I'm going to call this person because this person always calms me down. Because if you are having a panic attack at 2 o'clock in the morning and the person's phone is on silent and you can't get onto them, then there goes your regulation, right? So it can't only be dependent on someone outside. But if you do have a safe person and they are accessible, it's very beneficial to talk to someone because, as we said, emotions affect the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave. So you being in a high state of anxiety, your brain is going to be telling you a bunch of negative, worst case scenarios, self-critical stuff, ruminating, repeating something over and over and over and over, versus someone on the outside whose nervous system is regulated, is not in panic mode, is not in anxious mode, and could be able to talk a little bit of calm, peace, sense, logic, something into you. You don't want to, not all the time, your list of safe people is accurate, is applicable to this scenario. Because one of your safe people may be someone that you trust, that she's trustworthy, she's confidential, she don't gossip, she has all of those characteristics that make her a safe person, but she's also an anxious person. Then that is not the person you want to call when you're anxious, because that person is probably going to just kick it up a notch. You're going to leave that conversation feeling more anxious. You're going to end up having to calm this person down while you're trying to be calm yourself. So make sure you have a person that's able to stay calm, doesn't get aggressive, doesn't get impatient, knows what to say, knows how to comfort you in a moment. If it's a prayerful person, you know who that safe person is, but having someone and making sure that you reach out to them. Because a lot of times, it's not a matter of we don't have safe people, you know. Sometimes it's, I do have safe people, but I don't know how to ask for help. And I don't want to ask for help. And in the moment when I need my safe people, my brain tells me that my emotions are a burden, don't harass them, yada, 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 yada. Right? But we need people. Last 911-ish is simply monitoring your self-talk. In the moment of anxiety, your brain is going to tell you you're in danger, you're going to die, something bad's going to happen, all of these negative things. So even just reminding yourself, I am safe, I am calm. I'm safe, I'm calm, using those keywords, I'm at peace, I'm safe, I'm calm, I'm tranquil, I'm serene, I am at peace. All of these words that you've only known in the English dictionary to be connected with feelings and emotions that are calming. Because again, in the moment, your brain is going to be in danger mode when chances are you're probably not in an actual dangerous situation. So using your self-talk to be that tool to say, I am calm, I am safe, I'm calm, I'm safe, it's okay, I'm calm, I'm safe, we're going to get ice, it's going to be okay, we're in control, it's okay. Even if your brain isn't believing what you're saying, choose that type of self-talk than just letting the anxious brain scream and talk over and over and over. Yeah? Okay, so now we're going to end off with a couple tips. So these are tips specific to people that struggle with high levels of anxiety or struggle with panic. Firstly, your body is going to naturally have higher levels of adrenaline and extra energy. And if you don't have outlets for that extra energy, for that adrenaline to get out of your body, for all that cortisol to get out of your body, you're always going to have levels of anxiety. And it's not going to be hard to get you from 0 to 100. So, physical activity. You have to move your body. I feel like 50% of my time as a therapist or more is trying to get people to understand how important it is to move your body. And helping them understand that if you don't move your body, you are not giving yourself a fighting chance at happiness. You're not giving yourself a fighting chance at mental health, at emotional stability, at self-control, at emotional intelligence. You're not giving yourself a fighting chance if you're not moving our body. So you need physical activity. Find what you like. If you don't like gym, go and walk. You don't want to walk, go and start a sport. You don't want to start a sport, find some time to go in a pool or go in the ocean and take a swim. You don't want to go out anywhere. They have enough options online, on YouTube, on apps that have no cost attached to them to follow along to somebody doing a Zumba dance, doing some type of mobility movement, some type of stretching, something. Get your physical activity in. You need outlets for your emotions. You need to move your body, right? So you need to move your body. So first tip, at least 3 times a week. If you do no physical activity right now, then you're going to start off with at least once a week. Pre-plan your week. Don't just assume one day you're going to catch up apps and go and be physically active. Look at what your schedule is going to look like. See where you could fit in a 10 minutes, a 15 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours, whatever works for you. What it looks like. Physical activity could look differently at different times. Some could be high intensity, some could be low intensity. Some could be restorative, some could be strength training, right? But physical activity, you need it if you are extra anxious person. Number 2, hydrate. We spoke about it, so I don't need to repeat it again. Drink your water, but not just water. You need your electrolytes. You need your salts back into your body. When I have my water and I fill up all of this water, I put a couple rocks of Celtic salt in it, mix it around so that I am not just drinking straight water. I am also putting back in the minerals and the salts that I lose in my sweat. Right, so hydration is not just pure water, it's also the salts and the electrolytes. You also get that in fruits as well. So hydrate, making sure that you are hydrating your body and drinking enough water, especially based on your climate. If you are living in any Caribbean country or any other country, island that has higher temperatures, that means you are even more dehydrated and you need to take your hydration even more seriously. Right, so hydration, making sure that you eat. Stop skipping meals. If you're an anxious person, stop skipping meals. It's going to make you more anxious. It's going to make your brain run a mile a minute. because your body is going to register that I am in danger. Something is wrong because we are hungry. We are not being nourished. Something is wrong and it's going to make you feel anxious. Focus on your protein, even if it's just what you're focusing on, even if it's just something small. Make sure you are eating food and making sure that you are resting, that you are getting quality sleep, quality rest, quality downtime. Not every pocket of your time is a go, 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 go. And if you are go, 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 going, you're avoiding something. So find some time to sit with that. Yeah? So the second tip is your basic needs. Hydrate your body, nourish your body, and get some rest. Those are key basics. Number 3. Yes, regulate your body. Know how to calm your body, but always stop afterwards or in the moment to reflect and notice what's going on. Notice if all of a sudden you felt anxious when this one person came into the room, or all of a sudden when this one person messaged you, you felt anxious, or all of a sudden when this particular word was said, or this particular thing I ate, or this particular drink I had, or this amount of caffeine I had. Regulate, but notice. There's a term called attune to your body. Notice what shifted. Bring yourself back to homeostasis. But remember that anxiety is a self-preserving tool. A self-preserving emotion. So what is my body trying to tell me right now? Is my body telling me that I need to drink water? Is my body telling me that I'm a wrong or dangerous person? Is my body telling me that my gut instinct telling me not to go to this place? And maybe I'm not just feeling super anxious. Maybe I need to listen to myself. Yeah? So regulate, but don't forget to listen. Listen and tune into what's going on. Number 4, focus on your breath regularly throughout the day. People that have high levels of anxiety have very high breathing rates. People that have very low breathing rates have much lower levels of anxiety. They go hand in hand. So if anxiety makes the breath go faster, then you can take it from the other angle and control the breath, and you begin to lower anxiety. There's a whole conversation to have around your breathing, the pace of your thoughts, the control it has over your body, the control it has over your mind, all of that, in so many different avenues. But at many points in your day, stop to notice, am I holding my breath? Am I shallow breathing? Am I clenching my stomach? Am I only breathing into my chest? Let me inflate my belly, my ribs, my chest, my back. Take a full inhale and a long exhale. Even one of those mindful breaths throughout your day. Or use some breathing techniques. Square breathing, 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale, 4-second hold. All breathing techniques most of the times are inhales through your nose and exhales either through your nose or your mouth. Inhales through your nose are going to make you more anxious. So don't do any breathing techniques through inhales through your mouth. Any inhales through your mouth make you more anxious. So don't do any breathing techniques in your state of anxiety or as an attempt to regulate anxiety by breathing in through your mouth. You're going to alert the body, right? So breath focused, whether it's just you tuning in, noticing what's going on with your breath, if you're holding it, if you're short breathing, if you're breathing too quickly, and consciously create space so that more air could come into your body and extend the exhale. Start to do that often. Number 5 tips. Notice and start to make note of what your bodily reactions are. Notice what you do when you feel anxious, because sometimes some of the bodily reactions increase the chances of more and more and more reactions. For example, if one of your first reactions to anxiety is to hold your breath, if you hold your breath, your heart rate is going to pump. Your chest is going to start to feel tight. Your shoulders are your mouth starts to get dry, and it all started with your breath. So start to notice. Notice what your anxious habits are. Notice if you jitter. Notice if you're shaking your leg. If somebody starts to shake your leg, your body is going to be like, what's going on? Are we in danger? Notice if you hike up your muscles. Notice if you may not be twiddling your fingers, but you might be biting inside of your mouth. As for me, as soon as I start to learn one anxious behavior, I discover another one and another one and another one. Because there's a tendency for when you start to relax tension and stress in one area of the body, it finds another area. So you drop the shoulders, but all of a sudden you're clenching your jaw. You release your bottom jaw from your top jaw, all of a sudden you're clenching your hands. You drop that, you're squeezing your inner thighs together. You release that, your toes lifting up. There's always some area in the body that's holding anxiety. So start to pay attention to your physical behaviors that you do when you're anxious and start to control them, stop them, undo them, release them, relax them over and over and over and over until you continue to train your body and mind to stay in a state of safety rather than anticipatory anxiety. Second to last tip, build your self-awareness. Like I said, there's one thing to know the 911's and to know how to regulate it and to know how to calm the body down, but that's one part of it. You have to understand your anxiety because my triggers, my reactions, my behaviors may be similar or different to yours. And only you are going to know what that is. So practice more self-awareness as to what, who, or where makes you feel anxious. What are the times of the day that you feel more anxious? What are the times of the month you feel more anxious? What are your anxious triggers? What are the particular foods that make you feel more anxious? What are your reactions to anxiety? What goes on in your brain? What goes on in your body on that interoception level? What goes on your behaviors? What are your impulses? What do you rush to do when you feel anxious? And super important, where did your anxiety stem from? Because nobody is born an anxious person. So it's super important in changing a behavior to first understand where it came from. It makes the change a lot easier, right? And we could do that sometimes with reflection, but it's also a lot easier with the help of a professional. Yeah? And last tip, daily calming habits. If you know you're an anxious person, incorporate daily habits in your day to bring more calm into your body. 3 things I would recommend: calm teas, calming herbs, right? So this is the calming teas. So the lavender teas, the chamomile teas, kava, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, lemon balm, passion flower. Those are like key calming herbs, right? So lavender, chamomile, lemon balm, passion flower, kava, chamomile. I feel like I repeated something. CBD is also very controversial, but CBD is not the high. THC is the high. CBD is the relaxing, calming part of it. That is also very medicinally beneficial, right? So those are calming herbs that you can incorporate into your daily life through aromatherapy, through teas, creams, and what else? Something I was thinking. Anyway, right? So calming teas. There's also supplements, natural supplements that are very good for anxiety reducing effects. Ashwagandha, valerian root, which is the active ingredient in calms, magnesium glycinate, creatine, and protein intake in general. Those are key supplements that are very good at reducing anxiety. So again, giving your body a fighting chance. We can know all the regulation, but if you don't have enough magnesium in your body, you're going to feel a little more anxious versus making sure the body has the key elements it needs so that it's operating optimally. And when it doesn't, it is not going to operate optimally. And last, one of the recommendations for a daily calming behavior activity habit, a dark bath. Taking a dark bath for me, I do it at my last bath because I don't want to the first bath of the day, I need to prep up myself and get up for the day. But my last bath of the day, lights off, warm shower, a little aromatherapy, some type of calming body wash, something that adds another element to it. I will use a calming cream that I'll only keep for those calming moments. But you see that dark shower, when you block off one sense, one of your first 5 senses, the other gets heightened. So when you take off all of that extra brightness and overstimulation for the eyes, you get to feel into the temperature a little bit more. You feel a lot safer. The oil is just so super regulating and super calming, right? So dark showers for all my anxiety peeps out there. It's very yummy for the nervous system. All right, so that's it. That's all the content for today. I am going to put some journal prompts up, things for you all to work on to help you all incorporate what we have discussed in these sessions. Some journal prompts, some habits, all that jazz. I'm going to put this up now so you all can work on that in between sessions. In between sessions, like if we're in therapy. In between episodes to help you all apply and reflect on what we discussed in this episode. And to end off, we are going to have our mindful moment now. So bring yourself to a comfortable seated position, please. Bring your feet flat onto the floor. Get yourself as comfy as possible. We are doing 2 different techniques today for regulation. We're going to use that physiological breath that we spoke about. And we're also going to use some bilateral stimulation. Bilateral stimulation is activating both sides of the body. That has a very calming effect. So first, seated position. Allow your feet to go flat onto the floor. Keep your eyes open for now so that you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. So we're going to bring our right palm in front of our left chest / pec / shoulder. Then we're going to bring our left palm on top of your right chest, pec, shoulder, that area. So we're basically making a cross with our hands. I'm explaining it for those that are on Spotify, right, that don't have the video. We're making a cross across our chest with our hands. Both our hands are making contact with our chest. We're going to lift our right hand off a little bit, keeping the wrist connected. We're just lifting the hand off and we're going to pat the palm back down. Other one, left palm goes up, left palm pats back down. And then we're going to repeat it. Right hand, left hand. Right hand, left hand. We're going to close our eyes while we do this. This is called butterfly chest taps. It's a very good regulator for the body and it brings the body into a state of calm and safety. So we're just going to do these pats gently, not too fast, making sure you're making contact when you do connect your palm onto your chest. And we're just noticing what's going on in the body to begin. Let's start while we are doing these chest pats to start to pay attention to our breathing. Let's start to guide our inhale through our nose into our belly and then our chest. And let's begin to extend our exhales. Beautiful. Keeping that breath nice and steady. Keeping those pats going on your chest for a little bit longer. We're going to release this just now. Just noticing what it's doing in the body. Notice what it's doing in the mind. Notice if this is working for you. Beautiful. Allow your shoulders to drop down. Notice if you're holding tension in any part of your body, in your legs, and your feet, and your hips, and your glutes, your shoulders, your jaw. Just allow yourself to be present in this moment, feeling the temperature of your palms, noticing your breath, giving yourself a little undivided attention. Beautiful. We're going to bring our palms back onto our legs. Allow ourselves just to settle in this seat here. And we're going to engage in some physiological breaths. So we're going to inhale in through our nose for about 90% capacity. So a nice big inhale. And then we're going to take one more inhale to expand the lungs a little bit bigger. And then we're going to exhale out our mouth long and steady. Let's go together. Exhale wherever you are. Inhale through your nose. One more inhale. Long exhale out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. One more big inhale. Long exhale. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale through your nose. One more sip. Long exhale out your mouth. Inhale through your nose. One more. Long exhale. And last one. Big inhale through your nose. One more inhale. Long exhale. Allowing yourself to settle here. Noticing what it feels like within your body and your mind. And when you are ready, gently fluttering your eyes open, gently twinkling your toes, rotating your wrists, twinkling your fingers, rotating your wrists, twinkling your toes, rotating your ankles, gently bringing some movement back into the body, some neck circles, some twists, a nice hand above head stretch. And that is it for today's episode. Remind yourself that these little mindful moments are always there for you when you need them. So you can always just fast forward through a podcast and just go to the end. All of these podcast episodes have different mindful moments at the end of them, and they're nice little guided meditations for you. Yeah? I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your day or night, whatever time you are listening or watching this episode. Apologies again to the YouTube community for a different setup, but we did it nonetheless. I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your August, and I will see you all here again next month on the 11th at 11:11 a.m. Trinity time. As usual, if you have any recommendations for topics, subtopics, anything you want to learn about, anything you have an issue with, anything that I could use just to pull an episode out of, you let me know. Yeah? And until then, I will see you all soon again. I hope you all have lots and lots of joyful moments. I hope you all find peace amidst whatever storms you are going through. And I hope you know how capable you are. I will see you all here soon again. Bye, everyone.